What never ceases to amaze me is how far Christians will go to defend the Bible. I am aware that there is likely nothing to stop them, but here I go anyway, to show each and every one of you that this book is completely ridiculous and fallible not only to godly standards, but to today's human standards as well. And Christians struggle to keep this tradition alive by writing crummy books today. But that's not the only Christian tradition kept alive these days. Hypocrisy seems to be a big one. People like Ben Stein and Ken Ham teach people to completely reject science, yet they use it all the time. And Christian people blindly agree with them and do the same thing. And I used to like Ben Stein. Oh well, he was a sellout anyway. But these people look like nothing in the light of Pat Robertson and Pastor Fred Phelps. In case you don't know who Phelps is, he encourages protests that contain signs stating things like, God hates fags, thank God for AIDS, fags die, God laughs, AIDS cures fags, fags burn in hell, fags doom nations, God gave fags up, and thank God for 9/11. Then Ben Stein turns around and blames things like racism and discrimination solely on science. Speaking of contradicting themselves, the Bible is full of contradictions. First, God is satisfied with his works, and then he is dissatisfied with his works. God dwells in chosen temples, then dwells not in temples. God dwells in light, then God dwells in darkness. God is seen and heard, then God is invisible and cannot be heard. God is tired and rests, God is never tired and never rests. God is everywhere present, sees and knows all things, and then God is not everywhere present, and neither sees nor knows all things. Then God is all-powerful, then God is not all-powerful. Then God is unchangeable, then God is changeable. Then God is just and impartial, and then God is unjust and partial. Then God is the author of evil, and then God is not the author of evil. Then God gives freely to those who ask, and then God withholds his blessings and prevents man from receiving them. Then God is to be found by those who seek them, then God is not to be found by those who seek him. Then God is warlike, and God is peaceful. God is cruel, unmerciful, destructive, and furious, and then God is kind, merciful, and good. And then God's anger is fierce and endures a long time. And then God's anger is slow and endures but for a minute. Then God commands and approves of and delights in burnt offerings, sacrifices, and holy days. And then God disapproves and has no pleasure in burnt offerings, sacrifices, or holy days. Then God accepts human sacrifices, then God forbids human sacrifices. Then God tempts man, then God tempts no man. Then God cannot lie, but then God lies by proxy. He sends forth lying spirits to deceive, and also sends man delusions, which is the same thing as lying. Because of man's wickedness, God destroys him, but because of man's wickedness, God will not destroy him. God's attributes are revealed in his works, and then God's attributes cannot be discovered. There is but one God, but there are plural gods, and these go on and on and on and on. If you go to evilbible.com, you can see all of these contradictions, along with the Bible verses that contain them, so that you can look them up for yourself. And as if this isn't bad enough, these go along with historical inaccuracies. And while on the subject of getting history wrong, so many people think that Hitler was an atheist, that I'm starting to wonder if they've been living in a cavern society led by Kent Hovind, the master of getting things dead wrong.
You know, people say evolution is not a bad philosophy, but at the same time, it was Hitler's religion during the Third Reich in Germany.
First, evolution is not a religion. Evolution is a theory of science, and science is like a detective trying to find an actual answer, rather than just trying to make what he wants to believe sound true. Religious people are corrupt in the sense that they would rather plant false evidence than to see what's real in front of them. They also deny everything that's true. Since you say that evolution was supposedly a belief of Hitler's, and that means that it could be responsible for him being the way he was, then the fact that he was raised Catholic means that Christianity was equally as likely to be responsible.
It was Hitler's religion. It was Hitler's religion. Hitler's religion.
Do you still want to place the blame on something you call religion? The Bible makes all sorts of scientific claims that have been disproven beyond any doubt. These claims include things like the earth does not rotate or orbit, the earth must be flat for Daniel 4:10-11 and Matthew 4:8 to be true, the sun moves around the earth, the stars are gods to be worshipped, the stars might fall from the sky and have before, the sky can open up to spill water on us, the earth rests on foundations, the earth has corners, the earth has ends, the sun waits at the end of the earth along with the moon until it's time to rise, and the it and the moon, travel through openings at the ends of the earth. Rabbits chew cud, bats are birds, animals can talk, witchcraft is a sin because it's totally real, men with long hair are an abomination, the loving God sends beasts to kill people. If you believe any of the Bible, you have to kill the following people, including those who don't listen to priests or judges, homosexuals, unruly sons and daughters, people who commit adultery, girls who have sex before marriage, you actually have to burn them alive, people who follow other religions, people who just don't follow God, false prophets. You must also kill everyone in the entire city if just one of them does not believe in God. Anyone who approaches the tabernacle, people who work on the Sabbath. And you have to look up these biblical murders because they are ridiculous. Samuel 6:19 through 20, 1 Kings 20:35 through 36, and 2 Samuel 6:3 through 7. God condones killing children. God kills lots of people in Jeremiah 15:20 through 26 and Jeremiah 15:1 through 4. God condones rape and killing babies. One man kills 1,000 people with a donkey's jawbone. Peter kills people, killing people, children, animals, and even babies. Here's the Bible verse that says you have to kill people yourself. You have to be the one to do it. Jeremiah 48:10. God kills extended families, then there's more killing and more killing. Elijah kills, family killing, kill your neighbors. God kills a city, God approves killing, and then the killing happens, and then God promises he's not done killing people. Another example is that a lot of creationists claim that the heavens and earth were created 6,000 years ago, because it says so in the Bible. But the evidence of the age of the universe continues to pile up. One example is that Andromeda and the Milky Way galaxy are in a 5 billion year process of approaching, colliding, and crashing through each other. Of course, creationists will argue that this hasn't happened yet, but as you can see, it has been happening elsewhere in the universe. We are witnessing this happening. We can actually see it. We are watching this process. We can see these galaxies in all stages of this process, and seeing it is the most definitive evidence we can possibly have. Yet creationists still claim that science is wrong. Not only do creationists have trouble believing the truth, they also see the evidence and don't realize its significance. Take this quote from ChristianAction.org. They aren't just saying that the evidence can fit into a coffin. They're saying that the evidence occupies a space the size of a coffin. That is about 8 feet by 2 feet by 3 feet. 48 cubic feet of solid evidence. So what you are seeing here doesn't quite show how much there really is. Yes, a coffin can be very big. And as if this isn't enough, if God is real and good and in control, explain this. The condition is called inaccuracies. It is a frightening genetic condition that not only increases the information in the genome, answering the hoax question that was falsely claimed to have stumped Richard Dawkins, but the very sight of such a condition should be enough to show that there is no benevolent being guiding life, there is no intelligent design, and there was no loving creation.